Hi, welcome back to the channel African Diaspora Retiree. Before I go on to the topic, I would quite quickly like to say that everything I'm about to say is my personal opinion, but I have over 15 years of working in between Nigeria and the UK before eventually retiring, and now in and out of Nigeria on seasonal retirement. So, although it's my personal opinion, I do have some history and I think I do have some experience. So, the topic we're going to look at today are steps to take to make your accommodation option in an African country more successful than not. And I have three steps that I would advise anybody who is thinking of retiring from, say, the US, the UK, or a European country who is part of the African diaspora and wants to retire back to an African country, even if it's just seasonally. That there are three steps they should consider. Step number one, when you are coming for the first time, stay in a decent guest house, hotel, Airbnb. Hotel if you like people giving you service, Airbnb if you like self-catering. And Lagos being an example, even in Lekki, which is like a middle level, middle income environment, you can see a decent one bedroom flat for 400, 500 pounds a month, because obviously Airbnb and just like hotels, the longer you stay, they give you discounts. So 400 a month, which actually, let's even say 500, which actually is less than a room in London. I'm actually holidaying in London at the moment. You can't get a room for 500 a month, or if you do, it's going to be a very grotty room. Anyway, so consider staying in a guest house, a hotel, or an Airbnb for 3 months. And what that does is that gives you the time to find out whether you like a certain locality or not. Because too many times people go into an area, they make the mistake of buying first. That's a no-no, never buy first. But they go into an area only to find out that they don't like it. And if you're in a hotel, guest house, Airbnb, and obviously I'm not talking about people who are relocating with families. I'm talking about retirees. You're usually going to come by yourself. If you're lucky, your partner may want to follow you, but sometimes they don't. So you're coming to do the recce. Do that, and that gives you the time. So after you spend 3 months, you have an idea, and it could be you go in, you come back, you go to the African country, you come back to the UK, you come back to the US, spend some time and go again. You've got an idea. Then again, what that gives you is that it gives you a time to find out reputable property developers, reputable estate agents, because just like anywhere, you have cowboys. In my example, my experience in Lagos, you have cowboys just as you have cowboys in London, cowboy builders, cowboy estate agents that will promise one thing and then end up giving you something else that you don't like. So those 3 months in a guest house, hotel, Airbnb gives you time to find out, to do some investigative work on finding reputable property developers, estate agents. Then after you've done that, I would still advise, don't go and buy, now rent for a year. I don't know about, well, I do know in Lagos, you have to, in Nigeria, basically, you have to pay for rent for a year. I do know in Cotonou it's 3 months. And I've been told in some African countries, you can actually do monthly. I don't know, but it's not probably like the UK where you pay monthly rent. You have to pay a year in Nigeria. But anyway, a year. And in a decent locality in Lagos, you will probably spend between 3,000-4,000 pounds a year for a decent accommodation, decent 1-2 bedroom flat. Mine, I'm staying in Badagry. Mine is less than £1,000 a year for a two-bedroom bungalow in a decent gated well, little estate that's gated. So you will find a property for anything between 2 to 4 thousand pounds a year, not a month, a year, a flat that you can live in, and then also again find out whether that's the locality you like. You've probably done that as a result of staying in um, a guest house, Airbnb, hotel for the first few months. So you found the locality. That rent in a year now gives you time to really, focus on finding out the pros and cons of that locality. What is the traffic like? What are the social opportunities, the leisure opportunities, etc. You have time to find all that out, and then you can now decide, do I want to continue renting in the locality I am or moving somewhere else? I personally am somebody who have decided I'm not building any property in Nigeria. I had properties, I sold them, and I'm just going to rent. Because why do I want to buy a property? My children are not going to live there when I go, when I pass away, and it will just become, I don't have a big extended family, it will just become another abandoned building. So I don't need it. And also it means I don't need to put a big overlay of money looking for a property. But some of you may decide, actually, I'm a younger retiree, my children may want to come, or I may want to, have a few rooms that I can also let out. So Airbnb, etc. So you may decide to buy a property. Now, you've already found out the locality you like because you've been renting. And what renting also does is giving you the time to investigate proper development estate management companies, because there are a lot of shady ones out there that will give you big promises only for you to find out that they have not kept their promises. For instance, I know of people who have bought land uh, under the pretense that the company will start building within 2 years. The property will be completed. 4 or 5 years later, they are still waiting for the property to be built. Also, I know people who have bought properties that exist, but the company has sold these properties to four other people, the same property, and then they use lawyers to get you in a legal quagmire, hoping that after 3 or 4 years, some people will just lose interest. So that's the problem. And the good thing of spending longer time, taking your time doing it via renting, is that you will be able to distinguish the cowboys from the reputable property developers. And they are good. There are decent property developers in Lagos, in Nigeria, and I'm sure in other African countries. It just takes time. So you have decided that you now are not like me, going to continue renting, but you are going to buy your property. You are going to own your property. And then you now have the choice. Do I build or do I buy outright? I personally, if I was going to do, which I'm not, but if I was, I would not get into the rigmarole of building my own property. It's just too much stress. I don't have the time for it now. I'm not a young person. I've got carpenters, decorators that do pieces of work with me, and I know the stress I have arguing with them when they've done shoddy jobs, not to talk of someone building a property for me. I would go and either buy a property from an reputable estate agent, ideally one that's already built and is ready for me to buy. And the unfortunate thing in Nigeria, I don't know about other African countries, is that the currency has depreciated, that for £50,000, $60,000, you can actually find decent properties, ready properties that have been built. It's just that you need to take your time. You need a good lawyer as well. Or alternatively, the other option that a friend of mine did was you look for people, again using reputable estate agents, you look for people that already have a property and they want to sell. For whatever reason, they want to sell their property, so you know the property exists. You've got a lawyer, you're working for a reputable estate agent, and you simply buy that property and refurbish. So if you do it that way, you will find out that your journey of getting your retirement accommodation will be less fraught, less stressful, because you have taken your time. So let's run through these steps again. Step one, spending 3 months first in a guest house, hotel, or Airbnb, which gives you the flexibility to find the location you are considering, then rent for probably a year. When you've found out that location, that gives you the time to really test out that location, whether it's for you or not. It gives you the time to build up trust, to find reputable property development uh, companies, builders, if you want to go through that route, because they are also good. They are good builders who can build properties on specification to get your land, etc. And also, it just ensures that you take time to do it, so you don't rush. Because the problem about rushing is that if you rush, you tend to get into things that you may not have wanted to get into if you were taking your time. So that's my personal advice based on having lived in Nigeria for over 15 years, in and out of Nigeria, working and living and exploring, particularly in Lagos and Abuja. And now, as I'm retired, spending part of my retirement in Nigeria, traveling to other African countries, talking to other people from other African countries, and many of the stories are the same anyway. So I hope you found this useful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and also make comments. Your comments would help me in developing the channel, particularly as I will soon be returning back to Lagos, and I want to start doing a lot of more travel type posts, exploring different areas of Nigeria where we could live, different areas of Africa, some other African countries that I'm interested in as well. And also, it may be there are other topics you would like me to discuss. So please comment, that would be helpful, and share. And my email address is in my bio. And if you do want to do some consultancies with me, please email me and I will get back to you. So meanwhile, enjoy your week, and I will see you next week with another interesting post.